Morning everyone. Okay, so we're going to be doing complementary events now. So complementary events is looking for the opposite of what's happening. Okay, so you can have an event and you can have the opposite of that event. That's what a complementary event is. Okay, the other way you can think of it is we want it not to happen. Okay, so if you want something not to happen, the probability of that not happening will be 1, take away the probability of it actually happening. Okay, so the E in this formula stands for event. Okay, so let's have a look at some questions on this. This one says, write the complement of each event. And the question is tossing tails on a coin. You want to use the exact same words, but just change the word to the opposite word. So for tails, the opposite of tails on a coin would be heads. So the complementary event will be tossing heads on a coin. Okay, this one, selecting a heart from a deck of cards. Some of you might not be very familiar with a deck of cards, but while you're in remote learning, go and have a look at a deck of cards and you'll see there are 4 different suits. Of those 4 suits, there are hearts, diamonds, clubs and spades. So the opposite of getting a heart would be getting the other things. So selecting a diamond, club or spade from a deck of cards. Notice I've done the exact same wording, just doing the opposite of that word there. All right, the next one. We're just looking at finding probabilities in this question. So a die is rolled. You've seen questions like this before. We want the probability that the result is a 3. Well, there's only 1 3 on a die out of 6 things, so it's 1/6. The probability of not getting a 3 is the rest of them. So the probability of getting a 3 is 1/6. Everything else is not a 3. That's 5/6. This next one, the probability of not getting a prime number. So our prime numbers on a die, a prime number is anything that has 2 factors. Okay, so 1, a lot of people think 1 is a prime number. It's not, because 1 only has 1 factor. It's got the factor of 1. That's all. You need 2 factors to have a prime number. So the primes are 2, because that's got 2 factors, 1 and 2. 3, because that's got 2 factors, 1 and 3. Remember, factors are numbers that go into the number. And 5, because that's got 2 factors, 1 and 5. The other numbers are not prime numbers. Okay, so they're your primes. We want the ones that are not prime. So there's 3 that are prime, and that means there'll be 3 left that are not prime. So 3/6, and simplify it on your calculator to 1/2. Okay, looking at part D, we want at least 2 when we roll our dice. So if we roll it and we want at least 2, that means we want 2, because it can be 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. So there's 5 things it could be. So it's 5/6. At most 4. Be very careful with the wording. So that's the most you can have, 4. But it can be anything under that. So there's 4 things it could be. 4/6, simplified on your calculator, 2/3. Okay, this next question, we've got 6 books on a shelf, 3 maths books, 2 history books, and 1 sport book. If one book is chosen at random, what's the probability, we're finding probabilities, of selecting a history book? So I've just written here P for probability, H for history. So the probability of the history book, there are 2 history books on the shelf out of a total of 3 plus 2 plus 1, 6 books. And then we simplify it on our calculator, 1/3. The next one says, what's the probability that it's not a history book? So that would be all the other books. So not those 2, but the other 4. And then you can simplify it on your calculator. Or, if you want to be very clever, you can use this answer and do 1 minus 1/3, and you'll still get 2/3. Okay, so you can take that answer going, well, that was history. We want not history, so we're going to do 1 take away that probability. So you can do it either way. Okay, and the next one, a book that is not sport. Okay, so over here, there's only 1 sport book. All the other books are not sport, so there's 5 out of the 6 books that are not sport. And the next one, be very careful with this. We are finding a probability, but the answer must be a decimal. Now we're looking at the mobile phone number starting, does not end in 0 or 1. So we're only looking at that 1 digit. Okay, don't worry about the rest of the phone number. So just looking at that 1 digit, we want something that's not a 0 and not a 1. So that means it can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 8 things that it can be out of 10 digits. Some people write 9 here, but remember, here are all your digits. Left the 5 out. So there are 10 digits. We just want it to be a number that's not a 0 or 1. So there's 8 out of the 10. Simplify it. Now when you put that in your calculator and put it in and press equals, don't forget after that you want to press the SD key. And the decimal answer that you will get is 0.8. Okay, we're coming back in the next video to see some more examples.